Hey everyone, welcome back to Chill English Channel, your calm place for learning English through meaningful and thought-provoking conversations. I'm Sophia.
And I'm Jake. Today we're talking about something that affects almost every person on Earth.
Whether you're a student, an employee, a parent, or someone simply trying to navigate life, you've probably experienced it many times.
Today's topic is the art of worrying less.
Now, that doesn't mean never worrying again.
Exactly. Worry is a normal part of being human.
Everyone worries about something from time to time.
We worry about our future, our health, our finances, our relationships, and sometimes even things that haven't happened yet.
The real question isn't how to eliminate worry completely.
It's how to stop worry from controlling our lives.
That's what we'll explore in today's conversation.
We'll talk about anxiety, overthinking, uncertainty, perspective, emotional resilience, and practical ways to develop a calmer mindset.
We'll also learn useful English vocabulary and natural expressions that native speakers use when discussing stress, emotions, and personal growth.
So if you want to improve your English while reflecting on an important life skill, you're in the right place.
And if you enjoy these calm English conversations, don't forget to subscribe to Chill English Channel.
All right, Sophia, let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
Why do you think people worry so much?
I think one reason is that the human mind is designed to anticipate problems.
That's true.
Thousands of years ago, being alert to danger helped people survive.
Our ancestors needed to notice threats quickly.
Exactly. In many ways, worrying was a survival tool.
The problem is that our brains still operate in a similar way today.
Even though most of us aren't running from wild animals anymore.
Instead, we're worrying about emails, deadlines, bills, and social situations.
Our minds often treat everyday challenges as if they're emergencies.
That's a great observation.
And sometimes the problem isn't the situation itself.
It's the story we create around it.
What do you mean by that?
Well, imagine someone receives a short text message from a friend.
Okay.
The friend simply writes, "We need to talk."
That sounds familiar.
Within minutes, many people start imagining worst-case scenarios.
They assume something is wrong.
They replay recent conversations.
They wonder if they made a mistake.
And before they know it, they're stressed about something that may not even exist.
That's a perfect example of overthinking.
Overthinking is one of the biggest sources of unnecessary worry.
Let's teach our listeners that word.
Good idea.
Overthinking means thinking about a problem excessively or repeatedly, often without reaching a solution.
For example, someone might say, "I spent the entire night overthinking the situation."
Or overthinking made the problem seem much bigger than it really was.
I think many people will recognize themselves in those examples.
Definitely.
Another reason people worry is uncertainty.
That's a huge one.
Human beings generally like certainty.
We like knowing what's going to happen next.
We like plans.
We like predictability.
We like feeling in control.
But life doesn't always cooperate with those desires.
Not at all.
Life is full of uncertainty.
New opportunities appear unexpectedly.
Relationships change.
Careers change.
Circumstances change.
Sometimes very quickly.
The challenge is that many people spend enormous amounts of energy trying to control things they can't control.
That's where a lot of worry comes from.
Trying to predict every outcome.
Trying to prepare for every possible problem.
Trying to eliminate every risk.
Which is impossible.
Exactly.
One lesson I've learned over the years is that worrying and preparing are not the same thing.
That's an important distinction.
Preparing involves taking action.
While worrying often involves repeating the same thoughts without making progress.
For example, studying for an exam is preparation.
Lying awake all night imagining failure is worry.
Creating a budget is preparation.
Constantly stressing about money without taking action is worry.
Understanding that difference can be very helpful.
Because it allows us to ask an important question.
Which question?
Is this thought helping me solve a problem, or is it simply creating more stress?
That's a powerful question.
I think many worries become smaller when we examine them carefully.
That's true.
Some worries point toward real problems that need attention.
But many worries are based on assumptions rather than facts.
Assumption is another useful vocabulary word.
An assumption is something we believe to be true without having enough evidence.
For example, someone might say, "I assumed the meeting would go badly, but everything turned out fine."
Or, many worries begin with negative assumptions.
That's something I've noticed too.
What's that?
People often treat their worries as facts.
Even when they have no proof.
Exactly.
They think, something bad will happen, or this situation will definitely fail.
But in reality, they don't know that.
They're simply predicting the future.
And usually predicting the worst version of it.
Another interesting thing about worry is that it often steals our attention from the present moment.
That's very true. When we're worrying, our minds are usually living in the future.
We're focused on things that haven't happened yet.
Meanwhile, the present moment passes by unnoticed.
We miss conversations.
We miss experiences.
We miss opportunities to enjoy life.
That's one reason mindfulness has become so popular.
Mindfulness is another excellent word for today's topic.
Mindfulness means paying attention to the present moment without constantly judging it or trying to escape it.
For example, someone might say, practicing mindfulness helped me reduce stress.
Or, mindfulness taught me to focus on what is happening right now.
I think there's something very calming about that idea.
Me too.
Because when we focus on today, life often feels more manageable.
We stop carrying the weight of every possible future problem.
And we start dealing with what's actually in front of us.
That doesn't solve everything.
Of course not.
But it does make life feel a little lighter.
And sometimes a little lighter is exactly what we need.
Earlier, we talked about overthinking, uncertainty, assumptions, and mindfulness, but I think there's another important reason why people worry so much.
What do you think it is?
Many people believe that worrying gives them control.
That's interesting.
Even though worrying feels uncomfortable, it can create the illusion that we're doing something productive.
I completely agree.
People often think if I keep thinking about this problem, I'll prevent something bad from happening.
But in reality, most worries don't change the outcome.
Exactly.
That's one of the strange things about worry. It promises control but rarely delivers it.
Instead, it usually steals our energy.
Mental energy is limited.
So when we spend hours worrying about things outside our control, we have less energy for the things we can actually influence.
That's why learning to let go is such an important skill.
Letting go doesn't mean becoming careless.
Not at all.
It simply means accepting that some things are beyond our control.
Acceptance is a powerful word.
Acceptance means recognizing reality as it is, even when we don't like it.
For example, someone might say, acceptance helped me stop fighting situations I couldn't change.
Or, learning acceptance reduced a lot of unnecessary stress in my life.
I think many people resist acceptance because they confuse it with surrender.
That's true.
They think acceptance means giving up.
But actually, acceptance often allows us to move forward.
Exactly.
Once we accept reality, we can focus our attention on what comes next.
Instead of endlessly wishing things were different.
Another thing I've noticed is that people often worry about how others see them.
Social worry is incredibly common.
People worry about saying the wrong thing,
Looking foolish,
making mistakes,
being judged.
especially in today's world where so much communication happens online.
That's a great point.
Sometimes people become afraid of making even small mistakes because they think everyone is watching them.
But here's something interesting.
What is it?
Most people are too busy thinking about themselves to spend much time thinking about us.
That's honestly very comforting.
It is.
Everyone has their own worries, challenges, goals, and insecurities.
Which means we're usually paying much more attention to our mistakes than anyone else's.
In psychology, there's actually a concept related to this.
You're talking about the spotlight effect.
Exactly.
The spotlight effect is the tendency to believe that other people notice us more than they actually do.
For example, if someone says something awkward during a meeting, they might think everyone remembers it. Meanwhile, most people forget about it within minutes.
Understanding that idea can reduce a lot of social anxiety.
Definitely. Another source of worry is perfectionism.
That's a big one.
Perfectionists often believe that mistakes are unacceptable.
They set extremely high standards for themselves.
Then they become stressed whenever reality doesn't match those standards.
The problem is that perfection is impossible.
Exactly.
No matter how talented, intelligent, or hardworking someone is, they will still make mistakes.
That's part of being human,
Yet many people spend years fighting that reality.
which creates a lot of unnecessary pressure.
Pressure is another useful word for today's discussion.
Pressure is the feeling of stress created by expectations, demands, or responsibilities.
For example, someone might say, "I felt pressure to succeed immediately."
Or perfectionism creates a lot of pressure and anxiety.
One lesson I've learned is that progress is usually more important than perfection.
I completely agree.
People often delay action because they want everything to be perfect.
But waiting for perfect conditions usually means waiting forever.
Exactly.
Growth comes from taking action, making mistakes, learning, and improving.
Not from endlessly planning and worrying.
Another habit that helps people worry less is focusing on evidence.
That's a practical strategy.
When a worrying thought appears, it can be helpful to ask, what evidence supports this fear?
And often, the answer is surprisingly weak.
Many worries feel convincing emotionally.
But they aren't necessarily supported by facts.
That's an important distinction.
Feelings matter, but feelings are not always accurate predictions of reality.
Sometimes our emotions tell a story that isn't completely true.
That's why perspective is so valuable.
Perspective means the way we view and interpret a situation.
For example, someone might say, "Talking to a friend gave me a different perspective."
Or a new perspective helped me stop worrying so much.
Speaking of friends, I think support is another important part of worrying less.
Definitely.
Many people carry their worries alone.
They keep everything inside.
They assume they need to solve every problem by themselves.
But sometimes sharing a concern can make it feel much smaller.
That's because another person may see the situation more objectively,
They can offer reassurance
or practical advice.
or simply listen.
And sometimes being heard is incredibly helpful.
I think that's something people often underestimate.
Me too.
Human beings are not meant to face every challenge alone.
We all need support from time to time.
And sometimes one conversation can change the way we see a problem.
That's why worrying less isn't always about changing the situation.
Sometimes it's about changing our relationship with the situation.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
Because the goal isn't to eliminate every challenge from life.
The goal is to respond to challenges with more calm, clarity, and perspective.
And when people learn how to do that, they often discover that many of the things they worried about never happened in the first place.
Which is a lesson most of us learn again and again throughout life.
So far, we've talked about overthinking, uncertainty, acceptance, perfectionism, perspective, and support. But I think there's one final lesson that lies at the heart of worrying less.
And what lesson is that?
Learning to trust yourself.
That's such an important point.
Many people spend years worrying because they don't fully trust their ability to handle challenges.
They think, what if something goes wrong?
But a better question might be, what if I can handle it?
I love that.
Because life has already given us evidence.
Evidence of what?
Evidence that we've survived difficult situations before.
That's true.
Most people have already overcome disappointments, setbacks, failures, and unexpected problems.
Yet, when a new challenge appears, they sometimes forget their own strength.
Exactly.
They focus on what could go wrong instead of remembering what they've already overcome.
That's why resilience is such an important quality.
Resilience is one of my favorite words.
Resilience is the ability to recover from difficulties and continue moving forward.
For example, someone might say, resilience helped me overcome a difficult period in my life.
Or, every challenge strengthened my resilience.
The interesting thing about resilience is that it usually grows through experience.
That's true.
Nobody develops resilience by avoiding every challenge.
Resilience develops when people face difficulties and discover that they're stronger than they thought.
Which brings us back to worry.
How so?
Worry often assumes that future problems will overwhelm us.
But resilience reminds us that we are capable of adapting.
Exactly.
Adaptability is another important word.
Adaptability means the ability to adjust successfully when circumstances change.
For example, someone might say, adaptability helped me succeed during a period of uncertainty.
Or, the most successful people are often highly adaptable.
Life rarely follows a perfect plan.
Definitely not.
Some changes are difficult.
Some changes are exciting.
And some changes completely surprise us.
The good news is that human beings are remarkably adaptable.
We often handle situations that once seemed impossible.
That's why worrying about every possible future problem is usually unnecessary.
We don't need to know every answer today.
Sometimes we only need confidence that we'll figure things out when the time comes.
I think that's one of the most freeing realizations a person can have.
Freeing is a beautiful word in this context.
It means creating a feeling of relief, freedom, or emotional release.
For example, someone might say, accepting uncertainty felt incredibly freeing.
Or letting go of unrealistic expectations was emotionally freeing.
Another thing I've noticed is that people often postpone happiness because of worry.
That's so true.
They tell themselves they'll relax after achieving a certain goal.
Or after solving a specific problem.
Or after reaching some future milestone.
But life keeps moving.
New goals appear.
New challenges appear.
New responsibilities appear.
Which means the perfect moment to stop worrying never arrives.
That's why learning to appreciate the present is so important.
Not because life is perfect,
But because life is happening right now.
and worrying often pulls us away from that reality.
One practice that helps many people is gratitude.
Gratitude has a remarkable effect on perspective.
When people focus only on problems, life can feel overwhelming.
But when they intentionally notice what's going well, their outlook often changes.
Outlook is another useful word.
Outlook means your general attitude or way of viewing life.
For example, someone might say, "A positive outlook helped me stay calm during difficult times."
Or, practicing gratitude improved my outlook on life.
I think worrying less also requires patience.
Absolutely.
Many people want immediate certainty,
Immediate answers.
immediate solutions.
Immediate results.
But life doesn't always work that way.
Sometimes the best thing we can do is take the next small step,
Then another.
then another.
Eventually, progress happens, even if we can't see the entire path ahead.
That's a lesson that applies to almost everything in life.
Careers,
Relationships,
personal growth,
learning English.
especially learning English.
Many learners worry about their mistakes.
They worry about pronunciation.
They worry about grammar.
They worry about sounding natural.
But fluency grows through practice, not through worrying.
Every confident English speaker was once a beginner.
And every improvement started with imperfect attempts.
That's something worth remembering.
Definitely.
Before we finish today's conversation, let's review some of the ideas we've explored.
We talked about overthinking, uncertainty, assumptions, mindfulness, acceptance, and perspective.
We also discussed perfectionism, resilience, adaptability, gratitude, patience, and self-trust.
Most importantly, we talked about the art of worrying less,
Not by pretending problems don't exist,
not by avoiding reality,
and not by expecting life to be perfect.
but by focusing on what we can control and letting go of what we cannot,
By trusting ourselves a little more.
by appreciating the present moment.
And by remembering that most worries are temporary visitors, not permanent realities.
Now it's time for our question of the day.
What is one thing you worry about less today than you did a few years ago?
Maybe you've become more confident,
More experienced?
or simply wiser.
Write your answer in the comments and try using some of the vocabulary we learned today.
We'd love to read your thoughts.
If you enjoyed this episode, please like, comment, and subscribe to Chill English channel.
Thank you for spending this time with us and practicing your English together.
Keep learning, keep growing, and remember that peace of mind doesn't come from controlling everything.
It often comes from trusting that you'll be okay, even when you can't control everything.
Goodbye, everyone.
See you next time.